I'm Dr. Barry James of the Rider University Department of Communication, and I'm going green by installing solar panels and a geothermal heating and cooling system. And I think it saves me a lot of money. Global climate change and sustainability are probably two of the most important words as far as I'm concerned, because they have a lot to do with our world, our future, and what our world's going to be like for a future generation, for my kids, my kids' kids, and my kids' kids' kids. So I think that they're very, very important ideas that we have to make the world more aware of, that we have to make people more aware of, and we have to make people more aware of the consequences of not being sustainable. We have to make the world a little bit more aware of the problems that global climate change is going to cause. I'm not sure I was aware of global climate change per se, but I think what I was aware of, I was aware of natural resources running out. And I think when I first became aware of that was back in the 1970s during the first of our gas crises. You began to realize that other people controlled the oil that was coming to the United States, controlled our ability to make gas and to have oil. And when you're a college student and you're paying 30 cents a gallon for gas, and all of a sudden it goes up to $1.20 a gallon, all of a sudden you're waiting on gas lines. I'm getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to find a gas line that I can wait on because somebody saw a gas truck delivering gas to some gas station. You become incredibly aware that there are shortages, that we have finite resources, and that we're continually using those resources and squandering those resources. And I'm not sure that I was aware of what we refer to as global climate change, but I certainly was aware of our limited resources and what some of those problems could come from that. I'm going green in a lot of ways, from installing fluorescent light bulbs and extra insulation in my house, driving a smaller car, to installing solar panels and a geothermal heating and cooling system. The solar panels have been great because the solar panels just generate a lot of electricity. They generate it cleanly. It's certainly a renewable resource. The only thing I have to do is set these things up in my backyard and let them sit there. Don't have to maintain them, don't have to touch them. The sun hits them, practically every day. What's interesting is that during the day I'll take in some electricity from those solar panels, but if I don't use all of it, it goes back out into the grid and it supplies my neighbors' homes and my neighbors' homes. And then at night when the sun goes down and they're not generating electricity anymore, I pull back my electricity from the grid. And what's neat is that the power company actually keeps track of that. So I've got a meter in the back of my house that tells me how much electricity I send back to the electric company. And then at night it tells me how much I can take back from the electric company. And what's so cool is that the amount I generate in the middle of the day is usually a lot more than I bring back at night. So in the months of May, June, July, August, even into September, I generally will generate more electricity than I use. My electric bill is nothing, and I actually get a credit. So that what will happen is that as we move into October, November, December, that there'll be some excess electricity on my electric bill that is deducted from the bills in later months. So it's been a great thing for me, for my household, and it's something I think that everybody should really consider. They're not cheap, but from an economic standpoint, with state grants and federal tax incentives, it really made sense to put those solar panels in. The second thing that I did just recently is that I installed a geothermal heating and cooling system. And it's almost magic, to be very honest with you, and that's probably the best way that I can explain it, because they come in here and they drill 300-foot holes in the ground in my yard. They run these pipe loops into these holes that contain a liquid. The liquid would circulate into the ground, and the ground stays at a constant temperature. So when it's 10 degrees outside, it's still about 57 to 60 degrees under the earth, and two little pumps bring some of that warm water from 350 feet down or so, bring it into the geothermal heat pump, and what it does is it can actually extract the heat through condensers and coils and actually generate enough heat to heat my home. In the summer, when it's 90 degrees outside, it's still about 50 degrees, 60 degrees under the earth. And so guess what? When I circulate that same water in the summertime, what happens is that the water is cooler and the condensers in my heat pump can actually reverse the process and actually extract the coolness from the water that's coming from the earth and then generate and send it all through my house. So in the summer, my house can be a constant, 68, 70, 72 degrees. And what's so good about that is that in terms of the amount of energy it uses, it doesn't matter whether I keep my house at 68, 70, 72 degrees. It uses the same exact amount of energy to actually keep it even very cool by most people's standards. And in the wintertime, I can keep my temperature in my house at even as high as 70 degrees. And it won't cost any more, it won't use any more electricity than if I had it at 65 to 68 degrees. So it's a wonderful process that saves me about $100 a month in my heating and cooling bills so far. And it's brand new, and I expect to even get more as we move into the summer. And combine that with the solar panels out in my backyard, I'm expecting some significant savings from this. And what's more is that essentially using my own electricity to power the geothermal heating system. I don't use any natural gas, I don't use any oil, I don't use anything to power this except largely the electricity that I generate from my own solar panels. So heating, cooling, electricity, not bad.